Okay, let's talk about focus. Does your brain ever feel like it's just juggling too many tabs at once, never really settling?
hmm Like your attention is constantly being chipped away by, well, everything, this always-on world we live in.
Exactly. It's this feeling, this sort of tyranny of distraction, and that's what we're really digging into today.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge, isn't it?
Hmm.
Not just for individuals, but systemically. All the digital noise. It makes real concentration feel, well, almost impossible sometimes.
Which is why we're doing this deep dive into Cal Newport's book, Deep Work, Rules for Focused Success in a Distracted World. We want to unpack the why behind it all.
Right. And Newport, he's got a really interesting background for this. He's not just some productivity guru.
No, he's a full professor, computer science at Georgetown, PhD from MIT.
Plus, a New York Times bestselling author, Digital Minimalism, A World Without Email. People might know those too.
And the key thing is he actually lives this stuff. He practices time blocking meticulously, famously doesn't really do casual email.
He walks the talk.
Yeah.
And he started writing about this because he saw this pervasive erosion of focus happening everywhere. The rise of what he terms shallow work.
This constant switching online, it's not just irritating, is it? He argues it actually negatively changes your brain over time.
Absolutely. There's this culture now where being busy looks like being productive. The cult of the internet, as he puts it, just feeds that constant distraction.
And he has a specific term for what happens when you switch tasks too quickly, right?
Yeah, attention residue. It's this idea that when you jump from task A to task B, part of your brain, a sort of residue of your attention, stays stuck thinking about task A.
Okay, so you're not fully present for the new task.
Exactly. And that residue significantly impairs your performance on task B. It's a real cognitive cost.
So, given that cost, how does he define the opposite? What is deep work?
He defines it as professional activities performed in a state of distraction-free concentration, the kind that pushes your cognitive abilities right to their limit.
Stuff that's hard to replicate easily.
Precisely. It needs intense, uninterrupted focus. But the payoff is huge, substantial results, faster learning. He calls it a superpower in today's economy.
Okay, so that's deep work. What about the other side? Shallow work.
That's the stuff that's, non-cognitively demanding. Logistical tasks, often done while distracted.
Like checking email constantly, unproductive meetings.
Exactly. Routine responses, scheduling,
Yeah.
things that don't create much new value and anyone could pretty much do.
And he has a warning about doing too much of that, doesn't he?
He does, a pretty stark one. He says that consistently engaging in this frenetic shallowness can actually permanently reduce your capacity for deep work.
Wow, so it's like a muscle you lose if you don't use it.
Kind of, yeah. Your
Yeah.
brain adapts to the shallowness.
Which leads perfectly into his main argument, the deep work hypothesis. What's the core idea there?
It's this paradox he identifies. He says, the ability to perform deep work is becoming increasingly rare,
Okay.
at exactly the same time as becoming increasingly valuable in our economy. Rare and valuable simultaneously.
Why is it getting rarer?
Well, think about modern workplaces. Open plan offices, constant pings, the expectation you're always reachable, at always-on culture.
Right. Plus our own tendencies.
Yeah, the principle of least resistance. We naturally drift towards easier, shallower tasks. And that cultural thing, again, valuing busyness over actual, tangible output.
Okay, so it's rare because of our environment and our habits. Why is it becoming so variable right now?
Several reasons. First, it produces high-quality results. It uses a simple formula. High-quality work produced equals time spent multiplied by intensity of focus.
Makes sense. More focus, better output.
Second, it accelerates learning. Intense focus actually helps build myelin around your neurons.
Ah, the brain science bit.
Right. It basically helps you quickly master hard things by making those neural pathways more efficient, like paving cognitive highways.
And that links to the economy.
Absolutely. He talks about the economy bifurcating, splitting, shallow tasks get automated. Deep work is essential for the skilled workers dealing with complex systems and the superstars who are top performers. It's becoming key for economic relevance.
So, better work, faster learning, staying relevant, anything else.
Yes, and this is crucial personal fulfillment. Deep work leads to flow states.
Where you're totally absorbed, lose track of time.
Exactly. That deep satisfaction, that sense of craftsmanship and meaning in what you do. It's not just about productivity, it's about finding fulfillment.
You can see why the book resonated so much. It became this massive bestseller.
It really did. People felt that fragmentation, that lack of focus. And he gave it a name and a framework. It changed habits for individuals, time blocking, rethinking social media, and even started shifting some corporate thinking.
So for you listening, what are some first steps you can take away from this?
We've got two quick things to think about. First, try to identify your deep work potential. What's one specific task, just one, in your life or work that really demands that deep, focused concentration, that pushes your limits?
Just pinpointing it is a start. And second,
Do a quick, rough, shallow work audit. Just for one day, try to estimate how much time you spend on the shallow stuff, the constant email checks, the meetings that go nowhere, the mindless scrolling. Just get a baseline.
okay, so we've really covered the why today. Why deep work is so important for quality, for learning, for your career, and even for, feeling good about what you do.
And the key is remembering it's a skill. It's like a cognitive muscle you have to train. It requires deliberate practice.
It's not just a productivity hack then. It's maybe a path to deeper satisfaction, finding real meaning in a very, very distracted world.
That's a great way to put it, a pathway to meaning.
So join us for our next deep dive. We're going to shift from this why to the really practical how. How can you actually build more deep work into your own daily routine? Definitely tune in for that.
Hey, to picture this, alarm goes off, right? And maybe before your feet even hit the floor, you're grabbing your phone. That screen lights up and bam, this wave of notifications, emails, pings just washes over you. You get to work, your desk, whatever. And it's more of the same. Constant buzz. Then the day ends. You're wiped out. You felt busy, definitely busy, but you kind of stop and ask yourself, okay, what did I actually make today? What really moved the needle? It's this feeling, I think most of us know it, this nonstop cycle. Cal Newport actually calls it frenetic shallowness. But what if the real key, like the path to doing great work and feeling genuinely satisfied, what if it isn't just managing all that chaos, but actually fundamentally rejecting it? So today, we're doing a deep dive into the real value proposition of deep work. And look, this isn't just another productivity tip you hear about. It's more like a completely new way to look at your career, your potential. It offers this competitive edge, right? For learning tough stuff quickly, producing like really high-level output, and maybe surprisingly, finding real meaning in what you do.
Absolutely. And to really get that value, we need to start with what Newport termed the deep work hypothesis. The core idea is pretty simple but powerful. The ability to do deep work, it's getting rarer, scarcer and scarcer. But at the exact same time, it's becoming incredibly valuable in the economy. So, the logical outcome is the few people who actually cultivate this skill, they're going to thrive. So, okay, what is it? Deep work. It's basically professional stuff you do in a state of zero distraction concentration. It pushes your abilities, your skills to their limit, and it produces things that are actually hard for others to just replicate. And that's the polar opposite of shallow work. The stuff that doesn't really demand much brain power, often logistical tasks, busy work, things you do while you're half distracted anyway. Critically, it creates very little new value in the world, and frankly, it's easy to replicate. Anyone could probably do it. And this difference, deep versus shallow, it's not just semantics. It's becoming a fundamental sorting mechanism for who provides real professional value.
Okay, so deep work isn't just about, ticking boxes or getting things done. It's about doing the important things and doing them with real intensity. So what are the main upsides? Why embrace this?
Right. Let's break down what you could call the trifecta of deep work benefits. First off, you learn faster, significantly faster. And how does that actually happen inside your head? Well, it boils down to a neurological process called myelination. So think of your neural pathways like dirt paths in your brain for a specific skill. When you focus intensely without distraction, you're essentially wrapping those circuits in myelin. It's like turning that faint path into a paved, multi-lane superhighway. This isn't just a nice metaphor, it's a real physical change. It speeds up the signals. So, bottom line, to learn hard things quickly, you absolutely must focus intensely without distraction. There's kind of no shortcut.
Wow, okay, so deep work literally rewires your brain for faster learning, faster mastery. That's huge. But it's not just about absorbing information, right? It's about what you produce with it, too.
Exactly. That brings us straight to the second major benefit. You produce better. Higher quality, more impactful work. And think about it with this simple formula. High quality work produced equals time spent multiplied by intensity of focus. We often obsess about the time spent part, but Newport argues, and I think convincingly, that intensity is the real force multiplier. It's the secret sauce. And have you ever, quickly glanced at your inbox while you're deep in a complex problem?
Yeah, probably about 50 times a day.
Right. Well, that quick glance isn't harmless. Researcher Sophie Leroy identified something called attention residue. It's like this cognitive sludge or hangover that sticks around even after you look away from the distraction. It impairs your performance significantly for maybe 15-20 minutes.
Seriously, just from a quick glance.
Yeah, it fragments your focus. Those quick checks are constantly undermining your ability to reach peak cognitive performance. It's why hyperproductive people, like Adam Grant is often cited, they tend to batch their work. Long, dedicated, uninterrupted chunks to minimize that residue and maximize the intensity factor. And finally, the third piece. Deep work helps you live deeper. It connects to meaning and satisfaction. You might know Csikszentmihalyi's concept of flow. That state where you're so absorbed in an activity, you lose track of time, your ego fades away, and you just find pure enjoyment in the process itself.
Yeah, in the zone feeling.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Deep work is essentially the training ground for flow. It's the focused effort that allows you to access those deeply rewarding states more often. When you approach your work with that kind of focus, like a true craftsman honing their skill, it generates this profound sense of meaning. It's much more fulfilling than just, shallow busyness.
Okay, this all sounds incredibly compelling. Faster learning, better output, more meaning. Who wouldn't want that? But let's be honest, for most people, myself included, achieving this feels really hard, almost impossible sometimes. What is it about the way we work and live now that makes deep work so incredibly rare?
Yeah, that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Newport highlights two main culprits. First, there's the principle of least resistance. We humans, we tend to gravitate towards what's easiest in the moment. And let's face it, shallow work, answering emails, attending meetings without full focus, it's almost always less cognitively demanding, it's easier, than knuckling down for deep concentration.
Makes sense. Path of least resistance.
And the second force is busyness as a proxy for productivity. Especially in knowledge work, where output is often invisible or hard to measure, we fall into this trap. Being visibly busy, like rapidly firing off emails, jumping between tasks, looks productive. It becomes a substitute, a proxy for actually creating value.
So it's easier and looks good to be busy? That's a tough combination to fight against.
It really is. But there's something even more concerning here. It's not just about why deep work is rare right now. It's about the potential long-term damage of not doing it. There's a pretty stark warning here. If you spend enough time operating in that state of constant distraction, that frenetic shallowness, you might actually permanently reduce your brain's capacity for deep work. It's like a muscle. If you don't use it, it weakens, it atrophies.
Wow. So our ability to focus could literally degrade over time.
It seems plausible. And you have to remember, many of the tools we use every day, the whole distraction economy, they are meticulously engineered precisely to capture and fragment your attention. They actively work against sustained focus.
It's sobering. So it's really about actively defending our attention, reclaiming it as our most valuable resource. It makes deep work sound less like just a work strategy and more like, I don't know, an act of defiance against all this noise, which I guess is why calling deep work your 21st century superpower really resonates. It's almost a radical choice, isn't it? To deliberately cultivate focus when everything around you is trying to pull it apart. It lets you step away from the distracted masses and join the focused few. So here's maybe a final thought to chew on. Just adopting new technologies without really thinking about it. It's not neutral. You're essentially handing over control of your mental state to an environment that's often designed to break your focus. Achieving deep work means taking a conscious, critical stance. Like a craftsman choosing their tools carefully, you need a craftsman's approach to technology itself. Now that we've hopefully convinced you why deep work is so crucial, why it's this superpower, in our next deep dive, we're going to get practical. We'll explore how you actually build this skill, looking at different philosophies and strategies for scheduling deep work into your life. Definitely don't want to miss that one.
Hello and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Ever feel like you're just constantly busy, inbox exploding, calendar jammed, but at the end of the day, you don't actually feel like you accomplished much?
Oh, absolutely. It's that classic trap, isn't it, where being busy feels productive, but it's often just shallow stuff. Emails, meetings.
Exactly, shallow work. So what's the answer? Just try harder, or is there like a different way to think about it?
Well, the sources we looked at really emphasize that, good intentions aren't enough against all this distraction.
Right.
You really need a system, a philosophy, actually.
A philosophy for focus. I like that. And that's our mission today, right? To dive into Cal Newport's 4 philosophies for deep work.
Yeah, the monastic, bimodal, rhythmic, and journalistic.
Think of them as different trails up the same mountain, the mountain of focus. Choosing one is kind of an act of rebellion, yeah, against the constant noise.
Definitely. A conscious choice.
Okay, so let's start with the most intense one, the all-or-nothing approach.
That would be the monastic philosophy. It's pretty extreme. You basically structure your life to cut out or drastically minimize all those shallow tasks.
All of them. Wow.
Almost. The focus is purely on that high-value, deep creative output. Think someone like Donald Knuth, the computer scientist.
Oh, yeah, the guy with no email.
Exactly. Famously deleted it back in 1990. Says he only checks physical mail every few months. It allows for incredible focus.
Incredible focus, unparalleled output. Sounds amazing. But, I mean, is that realistic? For anyone who isn't already, a legend.
That's the major drawback. The potential for deep discovery is huge, but it often requires, completely redesigning your professional life. It's often seen as a luxury, maybe a reward you earn later, not a starting point.
Right, risks isolation too.
Definitely.
Okay, so if full monastic is out for most of us, what's a step down but still really powerful?
That brings us to the bimodal approach. This is more of a strategic compromise.
Okay.
You divide your time clearly, big chunks for deep work, like at least a full day, maybe more.
A whole day.
Minimum, yeah. And then the rest of your time is open for the shallow stuff, the meetings, the calls.
So you compartmentalize.
Precisely. Carl Jung did this, balancing his clinical work with total solitude at his retreat. And Bill Gates' Think Weeks? Classic bimodal. Major ideas came out of those.
Needs a lot of autonomy, though, right? And your team needs to respect those deep work boundaries.
Absolutely. You need control over your schedule, and you need to build trust so people know you'll be responsive during your on times.
Okay, bimodal makes sense, but what if you can't block off whole days? What if you've only got an hour here or there?
Then the rhythmic philosophy is probably your best bet. This is all about making deep work a regular, ingrained habit.
Like a routine.
Exactly. It takes the decision-making out of it. You just do it. Think of Jerry Seinfeld and his don't break the chain method for writing jokes every single day.
The chain method. Put an X on the calendar each day.
Right. It builds momentum. It's super practical for most people, managers, students, anyone with a somewhat regular schedule. It saves willpower because the behavior becomes automatic.
Okay, that sounds very accessible. Now the last one. Journalistic. Flexible, fitting it in whenever, sounds tricky.
It is tricky. It's the most flexible, yes, but also maybe the hardest to do well. You fit deep work into unexpected gaps in your day, like a journalist chasing a story on deadline.
But switching gears like that constantly, doesn't your brain get stuck?
That's the huge hurdle. Attention residue. Your mind is still kind of chewing on the last thing, the email you just sent, the quick chat. It really impacts your focus on the new deep task.
So you need to be able to just switch off the old task instantly.
Pretty much. It requires serious mental discipline, maybe even mindfulness techniques to clear that residue quickly. It's definitely not for beginners. Newport calls it the black belt of deep work.
Okay, monastic, bimodal, rhythmic, journalistic. 4 paths. How does someone listening choose?
Yeah, there's no single right answer. It's about being intentional.
So you need to ask yourself some questions, right? Like, how much control do you really have over your schedule?
Exactly. And what kind of work truly matters for you? Is it solo deep thinking or more collaborative? How predictable is your day?
And maybe how good are you already at focusing? Your experience level matters.
Definitely. And remember, this isn't set in stone. Your philosophy can change as your job or life changes. You can even mix them maybe rhythmic daily, but a bimodal deep work week once a quarter.
The key is just picking something deliberately.
Intentionality is everything. Start where you are now.
All right, this has been super helpful. So for everyone listening, let's make this concrete. What's the actionable takeaway?
2 things. First, just try one. Pick one of these philosophies, monastic, bimodal, rhythmic, journalistic, whichever resonates most right now.
Don't overthink it.
No, just experiment for the next week, see how it feels.
Okay, experiment for a week. Action 1. What's action 2?
Action 2. Do this right now. Open your calendar, find a 60 or 90-minute slot sometime this week. Label it deep work, and decide specifically what high-focus task you'll tackle then. And this is crucial. Treat that appointment as non-negotiable, like a meeting with your most important client.
Got it. Experiment with a philosophy for a week and schedule one concrete deep work block now.
Those 2 steps. That's how you move from just thinking about focusing better to actually doing it, building that superpower.
Fantastic. That moves us from intention to action. That's all the time we have for this deep dive. Next time, we'll dig into the rituals and routines that actually support whichever philosophy you choose. Until then, stay focused. Welcome back to the deep dive. Last time, well, we covered those 4 philosophies of deep work, kind of the big strategy overview.
Yeah, the why and the how at a high level.
Exactly. So today, we're getting practical. We're diving into rule #1, work deeply.
Time to build the systems, rituals.
Yeah. Our mission today is basically building your own personal fortress of focus. I like that phrase.
Me too. It captures the idea perfectly.
But here's the thing. The trap, really, if your plan is just, I'll try harder, you're probably going to fail.
Oh, absolutely. That's the willpower trap, plain and simple.
Right. It's not this endless well you can draw from. It's finite. Every little decision, every notification you ignore, it drains it.
And you will run out. It's inevitable.
Mm-hmm.
And what often gets missed is this principle of least resistance Cal Newport talks about. Basically, without structure, we just drift towards the easy stuff.
Like email. Always email.
Right. Emails, quick chats, scrolling.
Yeah.
Makes us feel busy, sure. That whole busyness is a proxy for productivity thing.
But it just eats away at that willpower, doesn't it? Without getting you into that deep state.
Exactly. So the really solution isn't more willpower. It's routines. Rituals, things that cut down on how much willpower you need in the first place.
It's like cognitive automation, right? You decide once up front how you're going to do this.
Precisely, like an athlete's pregame routine. It just flips the switch, gets them in the zone without thinking about every single step, saves that mental fuel.
Okay, so how do we actually build this thing, this system? Newport gives us 4 pillars, basically. The blueprints for the fortress.
Yeah, the core components.
They are where and how long you'll work, how you'll work, and importantly, how you'll support yourself.
Let's break them down.
Pillar 1, location.
This isn't just about finding somewhere quiet, though that helps. It's more about psychology.
Psychological link.
Yeah.
If you always use one spot only for deep work,
then that spot itself becomes a trigger, right? With a Pavlovian cue almost.
Mm-hmm.
Tells your brain, okay, focus time. Exactly. Becomes kind of sacred ground. Reserved just for the tough stuff. Could be an office, sure, but maybe just clearing your desk works too.
Yeah, that simple act, it signals a shift.
Mm-hmm. Builds the foundation.
Okay, pillar 2, duration. Setting a specific time limit.
Crucial. Don't just say, I'll work this afternoon. Define it, like a 60 or 90 minutes.
Turns it from this endless task into a defined challenge, a sprint.
Exactly. And you got to know the upper limit too. For most people, real, true, deep work, about 4 hours a day is max.
Pushing past that just leads to burnout, doesn't it? Diminishing returns.
Totally. Cognitive exhaustion. So that duration sets the size of your fortress walls for the day.
Right. Pillar 3, rules and protocols. This is the operating system, the security inside the fortress.
Focus OS. And the main rule, 0 tolerance for distractions.
No internet unless you absolutely need it for the task.
Yes.
Email off, phone silenced, maybe even in another room.
Definitely helps. And it's not just banning stuff. It's also about getting super clear on what you're doing.
Don't just say, work on the report.
No. Be specific. Write 500 words of the intro. That PhD student example, Aaron, he had, 7 questions?
Yeah, 7 questions he answered before starting, like why this matters, how he'll approach it, what success looks like for this session.
That forces clarity, and that enforces solitude. Not just being alone, but isolating your mind from outside input. Those rules, they're the thick walls.
Okay, final pillar, 2 parts here. Support and metrics. First, support.
Basically, getting everything you need before you start. Your mise en place, like a chef.
Coffee, water, notes, any files open. All ready to go so you don't break your flow fetching something.
Yep. And the second part? Metrics. You got to measure this stuff to make it stick.
Track your deep work hours, right? Not just the final outcome.
Exactly. Focus on the lead, measures the hours you put in, and make it visible, a compelling scoreboard.
Like just tally marks on a calendar for every hour or half-hour block.
Yeah. Simple, visual, makes it a bit of a game. Like that Jerry Seinfeld don't break the chain idea, keeps you honest about building the fortress.
Okay, so that's the core structure. But, sometimes you face just huge resistance or massive pressure.
Ah, yeah. For those times, there are a couple of, let's say, advanced strategies, more extreme measures.
First is the grand gesture.
This is where you make a big, sometimes costly commitment, something that signals this task is seriously important.
Like J.K. Rowling checking into that fancy hotel to finish Harry Potter.
That's the classic example. Or Peter Shankman flying business class to Tokyo and back just to write a book manuscript on the plane.
Wow.
Psychology is The investment is so high, failure becomes really, really unappealing. Makes doing the deep work suddenly feel the easier path.
See, it's an extreme commitment device. Okay, what's the second one?
Rooseveltian intensity. Named after Teddy Roosevelt, apparently.
Right. He was known for these super intense, short bursts of work, totally distraction-free.
So the idea is, take a high-priority task and give yourself a much shorter deadline than you think you need. A hard deadline.
Artificially creating pressure.
Exactly. It forces you into maximum concentration because there's literally no time for anything else. Trains those focus muscles.
Okay, so we've covered the willpower trap, the 4 pillars for rituals, the importance of solitude they create, and even these advanced tactics. Lots there.
It's a solid framework.
So what can you, listening right now, actually do? 2 quick takeaways.
Start small.
Yes. First, design your mini ritual. Don't try to build the whole fortress overnight. Just a 5-minute thing before you start work. Clear the desk, make tea, put the phone away, maybe state your intention out loud. Simple.
Builds the habit.
Second, experiment with location. Just try it. Next time you need to focus, go somewhere different. Library, another room, park bench, whatever. See how it feels.
Notice the difference.
And hey, we actually put together a little worksheet, my deep work ritual blueprint. It's in the show notes if you want some structure for that.
Nice.
Okay, so that's the plan for building the fortress.
But here's something to maybe think about. If building the fortress is step 1, what happens when you step back outside those walls? How do you keep that focus, that mental discipline, when, the world rushes back in with all its distractions?
Ooh, good question. Food for thought. And actually, that tees up our next deep dive perfectly. We'll be tackling rule #2, embrace boredom.
Ah, the surprising key to concentration.
Exactly. How tolerating boredom actually makes you better at focusing. So join us for that. Until then, get started on building your fortress. Welcome to the deep dive. We're looking at rewiring your brain for sustained focus. You know that feeling, that constant digital buzz, always busy, but never really deeply engaged. That scattered feeling, well, it really costs us, but what if we could, actually get that focus back, rebuild it?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're tackling today. Think of it as building your own sort of inner fortress against all that digital noise.
Yeah.
We'll look into the surprising power of boredom, believe it or not, and decode what your brain's cleanup crew, the default mode network, actually does. Plus, get into some practical stuff like digital detox and attention training.
Okay, so drowning in distractions, we feel it, but what's the actual cost to our brains? I've heard we don't really multitask, it's more like rapid switching. Is that where this attention residue idea comes from?
Precisely. Yeah, that feeling of being scattered all the time,
Yeah.
it's real. Your brain isn't multitasking, it's switching context really fast, and each switch leaves behind this residue, like you said, from the last thing you were doing. There are studies showing it can take, up to 23 minutes to really get your focus back after just one interruption?
23 minutes, wow.
Yeah, so think about how many quick checks of your phone you might do in an hour.
Yeah, huh.
What does that actually mean for getting real, sustained work done? This whole cycle, driven by dopamine hits, it's literally training your brain away from deep focus.
That really changes how you think about it, doesn't it? If just glancing at a notification gives you that kind of cognitive hangover, what about someone checking their phone constantly? Are they ever truly focused?
Likely not, no. And what's really critical, I think, is the physical toll. This isn't just about feeling frazzled. Research actually links too much screen time to reduced gray matter.
Reduced gray matter.
In the prefrontal cortex,
Yeah.
which is, command central for decisions, planning, executive function. So this digital overload, it causes cognitive fatigue, it can spike anxiety, and messes with sleep. Big time. That blue light suppresses melatonin.
Right.
And if you zoom out, this whole illusion of busyness equals productivity, well, that's actually degrading our ability to think deeply,
Yeah.
to solve complex problems.
Okay, that's pretty concerning. But if that's the problem, you mentioned something surprising, boredom. That just sounds, I don't know, counterintuitive. Who wants to be bored?
Right. It sounds like the enemy.
Right.
But this is where it gets really interesting. We try so hard to avoid boredom, but it's actually a gateway to creativity, to deeper thinking. Think about J.K. Rowling. She apparently got the whole idea for Harry Potter just sitting on a delayed train. Those unstructured moments.
Okay, but why? When I'm bored, my brain just feels empty, like it shuts off.
It feels like that, but it's actually doing the opposite. Boredom kicks your default mode network, the DMN, into gear. Think of it less as doing nothing and more like your brain's background processing unit. When you step away from constant input, it gets busy. Connecting ideas, sorting information. It's like defragging your mental hard drive.
Ah, the cleanup crew.
Exactly. It's essential. It's where those aha moments often come from when you're not actively trying.
So, okay, what does this actually mean for you listening? It means maybe. Embracing a bit of doing nothing. Like il dolce far niente, the sweetness of doing nothing. Schedule time for it. Like a slow walk, maybe leave the phone behind. A digital detox isn't just stopping, it's like resetting your relationship with tech. And the science shows it boosts focus, cuts stress, helps sleep.
Yeah, and practically speaking, you can try simple things, like the 20-20-20 rule. Heard of that?
Tell me.
Every 20 minutes you're looking at a screen, you look at something 20 feet away for 20 seconds. Just gives your eyes and brain a micro break. Also, setting up device-free zones is huge. The bedroom is a big one, for sleep quality, and for actively training attention. Cal Newport talks about productive meditation. Basically, you focus on a single work problem while doing something physical but not mentally taxing, like walking or folding laundry. Or simple mindfulness, like the find your flashlight idea. Just noticing when your mind wanders and gently bringing your focus back, maybe to your breath.
Right, so the real fight is against that pull for instant gratification. But it's not just about gritting your teeth, is it? There are smarter ways.
Absolutely. It's not purely willpower. You can use things called effort packs. Basically, you pre-commit. You make the things you want to do easier and the distractions harder. So physically put your phone in another room when you need to focus, or use an app blocker, or even like a timed lockbox. Make the path of least resistance the focused one.
Okay, and what about when that urge to just check your phone feels totally overwhelming?
Yeah, that's where some distress tolerance skills can be really helpful. These come often from therapy contexts, but they're useful for anyone. Things like TIPP, using temperature, intense exercise, paced breathing to kind of shock your system out of the urge, or stop EP, stop, take a step back, observe what's happening, then proceed mindfully. It just creates a pause, a moment of choice.
So what we've really seen in this deep dive is that getting back deep work, it isn't just a nice-to-have productivity trick. It's more like a radical act.
Yeah.
Reclaiming your own mind, right?
Exactly. Choosing conscious focus over just reacting to whatever pings next.
So we really encourage you to maybe pick just one thing from today, just one strategy. Maybe it's a 30-minute block with no phone, or trying that productive meditation on a walk, or even just turning off notifications that aren't absolutely essential just for one workday.
Just try one small thing consistently and notice the difference it makes. It can be pretty profound. So the question for you is, what's one small shift you'll try this week?
Next time, we'll dive into how structuring your actual environment can make deep work not just possible, but almost inevitable.
That's all for this episode of the Deep Dive Cast. Thanks for joining us. We hope you gained some valuable insights. Be sure to tune in next time for another deep dive into the world's best ideas. Until then, keep learning and growing.